Okay, we're just going to go with it. I'm going to eat my banana, look you dead in the eyes, and just tell you exactly what's been going on and kind of give you a general update of the channel. I'm in Morocco now. You might actually hear the call to prayer that's happening right now. I recently this year, or last year rather, I took it upon myself to become a full-time traveler. I'm a nomad. I don't have a home. I travel just kind of working and go wherever my heart tells me to go, really. You may have noticed that the videos have taken a bit of a hit in terms of the output in them, and hopefully this can kind of clear things up and tell you exactly kind of where I'm looking forward in terms of what I want to achieve and what I want to kind of do with the channel. For that, I'm obviously very, very sorry if I kind of started a few kind of series that I didn't get to finish and various things like that, just because my focus changed, life changed, and etc. You know how it is. I'm sure it's happening to you too. I meet up weekly with what we call a PPP, or a performance partner, or I don't know what the third P is about. An accountability buddy that I meet up with every week to kind of discuss my business, discuss our businesses, challenge assumptions, give each other ideas, and just support each other through kind of difficult decisions or whatever it may be. And we decided to look back at the year 2022, look at what worked well for us and look at what didn't work so well for us as well, and make a plan for 2023, trying to improve on what we did last year. So that was a really fun opportunity for me just to kind of look back at the year and kind of pat myself on the back a little bit, but also start looking forward and think, right, I'm not going to do that again. So let's look back at the year 2022. I describe this year as a year of change and a year of creativity. I've really taken it upon myself to express myself and look for new ways to challenge myself creatively. Most recently, that's taken shape in the form of making kind of, I guess, Instagram reels. I love Instagram. I love sharing with my friends and my family my kind of life, and I love learning about their lives through that platform. I changed my privacy settings to make it kind of public and started to make these travel focused reels, and these were really interesting because I would film for sometimes a whole weekend. I'm releasing a trip that I've recently done to the Sahara Desert where it was 3 days of filming, and I have, you know, maybe even an hour of footage or something like this, but I've got to get that down to a minute and a half for these reels. Anyway, I digress. The point is, it's challenging me into exploring new ways to express myself, but also I started a photography Instagram as well. I've always loved photography. I'm not necessarily the best at it. I like things a little bit different. I like things a little bit rough and ready. So I thought I'd like to express and capture my travel adventure through photography. So that's actually been eating up a hell of a lot of my time with regards to my output, and again, why maybe the channel has taken a bit of a dip. But I've really enjoyed thinking about life in a creative way. I'm going to have a little nosh on my banana. Long story short, it's been a year of creativity for me. Just drop my banana. So thinking about my business, it was looking pretty grim, and I'll get into why that is. Grim is probably a bit of an extreme word, but it wasn't looking great coming up to the end of the year in terms of financially for us. And I was okay with that. There are several intentional reasons why that was the case. And I don't want to reveal numbers, but we're talking about, it was looking like it was going to be about £10,000 difference lower than the previous year. Why was that the case? The previous year, so 2021, I was focused very heavily on referrals, and referrals are absolutely fine in a business, but I completely took my foot off the gas when it comes to looking for new clients. When I first started this company, every single day I was messaging people, trying to just meet people, contact people, grow my network in order to find new work. I sort of was looking ahead rather, And I thought we can't be dependent on referrals. And so I changed tack with tack or tact. I don't know. I decided also that I was going to focus more heavily or specifically on more creative and immersive websites. Now, this was a brand new industry for me. I kind of knew it because I used to have a theatre company, so there was a theatrical side of this immersive industry. Because when we think about immersive, we think about immersive theatre or dining experience, a very physical thing. Augmented reality, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, all this kind of stuff. This whole industry was fairly new to me, but I was enthusiastic about it, as you might have seen from a few of my experimental videos that I've done. It's an interest of mine, but it's from a business perspective, I knew no one in the industry. So the company itself decided that was the niche or industry it was going to go for. And if there's any advice I can give is really try and find a niche that you're really passionate about and go for it. Because when it comes to looking for new clients, this really isn't going to stay, is it? When it comes to looking for new clients, it's so much easier when you just know exactly what search terms to look for, how to design your website. That was another thing actually I haven't put down on here. We redesigned our website. Long story short, having a niche is really helpful from that perspective. And it doesn't mean that you cannot accept work from other, if work comes in, take it. You've got to keep the lights on. You've got to keep yourself entertained. You can't just narrow yourself down to one niche, but it does help you when it comes to looking and finding new customers and all the rest of it, because other customers will come. Just gonna have a little bite of my banana. Other customers will come if you put yourself out there and produce content and all the rest of it. So don't worry about that, but get yourself a niche, even if you keep it secret. But it certainly helps from a branding perspective if you can constantly say, I serve this person. Anyway, once again, I digress. This is going to be very fun to edit, by the way. So this year we changed our website. We changed our client base on the types of websites we want to make. I had experience, or should I say we had experience building immersive websites, interactive websites in the past, but they were kind of unintentional or kind of haphazardly got. But now I started to actually really focus on actually getting those as client. And when you don't know anyone in the industry, it's a really bad starting point, to be honest. It's not particularly clever way to go, but we've all got to do it at some point. But I just went very, very hard on trying to meet up with people in the industry. And I've been speaking to some of the biggest names in the industry as well, particularly in London, where this industry is thriving. So I'm really proud of the way that is. But what obviously that did is it really takes months and months and months of essentially no work. And work was coming in, but I was trying to contact people who didn't necessarily have work or whatever. So there was a few months where we weren't really getting anything in. And again, I was okay with this. Planned for it. I thought about it, and I knew what I was getting myself into. So long story short, although profits were down, we had no real large projects. I felt like it was sort of a long-term goal to pivot away from referrals, getting fresh new clients that were 100% Jupiter in the Draft, which is my company, but also in a new industry. And I think that we've made some really good headway in going down that direction. I'm really chuffed with the way it's going. And I'm hoping 2023 really accelerates that growth and all the rest of it. But that, in a nutshell, as to why the profits were down. The revenue was down because profits were actually up. Obviously, reflecting on 2022, I started traveling, and I'm trying to be aware whether this is helping or hindering the growth of my company. It's definitely harder to meet people. It's definitely harder to meet clients. But before COVID, people wanted to meet with you face to face. After COVID now, people are a lot more susceptible to working with you, having never met you. I've never met so many of my clients at the moment, which is absolutely wonderful in some ways, because it means that the borders and time zones really aren't an issue. But for me physically, is this traveling helping or hindering me? And that's something I'm taking into 2022 as well, or 2023 rather. Another thing that we've been doing this year, or that I've been doing, is I I was inspired by, I've forgotten his name, I'll put it down here. He basically created Nomad List, and he's a bit prolific when it comes to building products. And his pinned tweets right now, if you went onto his website, his Twitter, his pinned tweet is the number of products that he's built versus the ones that have come good. That number isn't crazy, but it is ratioed in favor of building products that absolutely go nowhere. And I felt like there's so much value in just learning how to build products and how to just navigate all that I've just got to get started on it. So I've sort of started a bit of a side hustle in amongst everything else to help build products. And I've already released one product. It's called visatracker.net. And it was a way that I was able to track my European visa as I come in and out of Europe, essentially. So I then took on another project with a friend of mine, which we've yet to release, but this is a monetized thing, and we're looking to monetize this and pretty soon, actually. And again, this is all helping me understand how to build these products, how to code these products, how to market these products, and all the rest of it. I don't really know where it's going right now, but it was something I picked up, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And it's a way for me to utilize my downtime from actually doing work in order to make passive income. Right, if I think back right at the beginning of the year, I started and rebranded this channel a little bit under the Full Stack Agency kind of banner. And I wrote a few books. I wrote 3 books under that. I had a 4th one that I never got around to selling. Anyway, the kind of Full Stack Agency stuff, released a couple of books, and I have a few more ideas around that I'd like to do. And that was quite a fun thing to do. And I just, at the beginning of the year, I think this was the spark of my kind of trying to be creative, and I needed to do something different. I was a little bit sick of client work. I needed something where I just was less dependent on other people. So I thought, why not start this more of an education platform? And I had this whole plan. I haven't executed completely on that plan, but it's still definitely something that's waiting, it's dormant to pick up when and where I can. So that was quite fun. So thinking about this YouTube channel, it's kind of gone through peaks and troughs throughout the year. I was focusing more on Pinegrow content because I'd done the Webflow stuff. I don't need to go through that video again. I really enjoyed both learning Pinegrow and sharing my learnings with you, the community. So that was pretty cool. But it wasn't really fulfilling me as much as I'd like. I have tons more video ideas that are waiting to be created. I just haven't got the time to create those. And it's also a lot more difficult for me to record YouTube videos in an Airbnb situation where I don't have my lights and I don't have various things that make this, even just setting up right now, probably took about 10 minutes. So now I'm actually earning on YouTube, which is really cool. So if you do want to support me, I think there's a thanks button or something, I don't know, but I'm monetizing now on YouTube, which is a big step for me. It took me a while to do it. So I'm glad to be now passively earning on that, which is good. And towards the beginning of the year, actually, I worked with a business coach, and that was really insightful into learning or figuring some things out. But for me, it was getting a little bit stale. But it was an interesting and really important experience. So that was 2022. Lots of change, lots of finding myself in some ways, which I'm interested. I'd be interested to look back at how the year 2022 shaped me as a person, because I can already feel myself both professionally and personally kind of just looking at things very differently right now. I'm not sure whether it's good or bad or whatever, but yet to be seen how this year is going to pan out for me. But with that, looking forward to 2023, thinking personally, I think I've been a bit rubbish organizing and planning out and hitting targets and things like that. I used to be very particular about. I have a methodology that I like to use about creating goals and achieving those goals and tracking those goals, and I kind of completely fallen short on that. Something I'm personally working towards is to be able to afford some sort of mortgage, and I don't necessarily want to settle down or do anything like that. I see this as kind of 50% a investment, so that I have a property that's appreciating in value, but also give me that flexibility to travel and earn potentially whilst I do it. So I just think it's a sensible thing for me to have a house, but maybe not necessarily live in it. With that, I need to increase the profits within my company. And that looks good to mortgage lenders, blah, 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 blah. I want to increase in company profits, and I'm actively working towards that, and already we're starting to see some improvement there. Again, I've got note down an increase in profitability. I think from a business perspective, that makes sense as well. And I want to work on this new sexy website, mixed reality, immersive industries websites. That was a bit of a mouthful, wasn't it? I want to get more clients in there. So we're working with a few clients at the moment that want these types of websites, but they're not in the industries, which is absolutely fine because there's learning and all the rest of it. So I'm not gonna condone not doing work once again just because it's not within the niche. It maybe in some ways it's better to be working with clients that aren't within your niche, so that you can kind of get over these hiccups or figure out these sorts of things. I want to spend some more downtime to create these passive income products, as I said earlier, and try and figure that out. What is that? Is that another company? Is that just what is that, and what's the revenue split there as well? What's an acceptable amount to have a split in that company? Because actually I probably forgot to say, I'm working with friends, I then negotiate a split with regards to the potential profits of the company. So I'm not taking any payment for those buildings of products. I'm just building them, and then I guess we'd split the revenue at a later date. So I'm just trying to work out the specifics around that. If you're a developer, I also want more developers on hand, because right now some of these things aren't able to be done. I'm not able to focus on some of the lead gen stuff that I picked up last year. Did loads of lead gen to build all these connections, but I'm not able to kind of continue with that because I've got my hands in the code. So, but I haven't found any creative developers who are interested in building these sorts of websites. So if you are interested, give me a shout and we can take a look at your portfolio and see what you're about. And obviously, I want to obviously beat last year's revenue goals, not just profit goals, but revenue goals. And I am excited about that and hopeful about that. It's just going to take a little bit more work to kind of finesse these things. So I think that's where we are when it comes to this reflection period. I think I need to put some timelines against these things. Like I say, getting back on track with regards to the goal setting that I've been doing, and really figure out how I'm going to really work backwards and how I'm going to achieve some of this stuff. But once again, sorry the content has been lackluster. If you are interested in some of the travel stuff I've been doing, check out Travel Book Pro on Instagram, or you can follow me on Fake Sam Gregory as well, where I post more of the video content. But in the meantime, I am looking to create more content for this. I've just got to carve out time. I'm absolutely exhausted, to be honest. I'm really, really working, burning the midnight oil, doing all these things. But I really want to look back at these next last year and this year and really know that I did the absolute best that I could, and that creatively I fulfilled myself, and that I've got good memories to hold and also look back on, to know that I really made the most of whatever time I have on this earth. Editing Sam here, because I forgot to mention something that was obviously a huge part of the last 2 years of my life, and that's my podcast, That Tech Show. I'm so proud of that endeavor that Chris and I did. We had some amazing guests. We had Blake Lemoyne. We had Uncle Bob on that show, and I couldn't be more thankful for that time creating that podcast. It just started out as a blog post, to be honest, but it got to a point where we just needed to throw in the towel, because it wasn't earning money. It was completely out of the goodness of our hearts, and there's only so much you can really do with the amount of time that you have. And it wasn't bringing me much happiness, because it was so much of my time was taken up creating graphics, working with the editor, posting about it and various things like that. And it wasn't bringing money. It unfortunately got to a point where it went beyond a passion project and needed to somehow earn money. So yeah, I mean, pats on the back for That Tech Show, but also it teaches me about what to look for in a lot of other things, maybe another podcast that I might do in the future, who knows. But just thought I'd add that one in there. Anyway, back to the banana eating Sam. If you stuck around to the end, Thank you so much. I appreciate that. This will be fun to edit. I'd say check out some more videos that I have, but I don't have anything very particularly recently at the moment. But if you do have any questions about any of the stuff that I've spoken about, if you have suggestions or thoughts about content that I should or could make, then do let me know. And just check me out on social media, give me a shout and say hello, because I love chatting to you guys. And thanks for your continued support. I'm still receiving the comments, the likes, the messages, all of that stuff is still being received, and I greatly appreciate it. So thank you to those that have reached out. And I guess until the next time,